Ladies and gentlemen, dudes, what's going on? Mini Painting Papa here. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 things I've learned after 1 year of painting for commission. As some of you may remember, I put out a video series just over a year ago discussing the multiple different facets of commission painting, the steps, the things that are important, and the things to remember, how to go through the process, yada, yada, yada. I also had only just started commission painting. I think at that time I had done maybe 4 or 5, feeling pretty cocky, feeling pretty arrogant, standard. And I decided, well, why not just make a how-to? I've done it like 4 or 5 times. Why not make a how-to? Now that I've painted hundreds of models over the past year for other people, I kind of wanted to revisit that a little bit. Kind of wanted to talk about what I've learned. A few things may have changed, and just some helpful things that I've had to suffer through during my first year that I had no clue I was going to need to endure, and that maybe you might not have to. The first thing I want to bring up, and it's in all caps in my notes, and so that's why it's number 1, is balance. It is the most crucial part of this. Some of you might not be married, might not have kids, might have a lot of other things going on. If that's the case, this could be a little further down the list. It's still important to balance things, but for someone like me, and I'm sure a lot of you out there, this isn't my main job. This is a side hobby. And as a side hobby, it needs to maintain the appropriate importance. I approached this like it was my main job, and it caused some weirdness. It caused a lot of confusion and unnecessary weirdness, I guess is a way to put it. Because I wanted to devote more time to this than was actually justified. I have a wife. I have 3 kids. We're pregnant with our 4th. Those are the most important things in the world. Your family is far more important than your job or than a lot of other things out there. And to put your hobby above your family is a big no-no. Huge no-no. Just like the Happy Heretic said in his video, you have to communicate, you have to find balance. And for every single different person, that's going to be a different balance. It's going to be a different scale. You're going to have more on one side than the other. And it's important to be upfront and open and just realize that although this is cool, unless this is your day-to-day, it needs to remain where it truly sits on the totem pole of things important. The biggest thing that helped me was actually realizing that doing it every night isn't always feasible. You need to sometimes put this aside if it means you got to catch up on sleep, or maybe it means, you're going to watch another episode of your favorite show with your wife just so you guys get a little snuggle time, whatever. Putting the kids to bed is a big deal too. These are things that they're going to remember, and you want your kids to remember that you were there for them and with them and doing things with them, and not that you never put them to bed because you're painting plastic things. It's a little heavy, but if you can get that out of the way and you got that balanced, everything else is going to be easy. Balance is crucial. The way I found balance, especially when dealing with large commissions, some of them over 100 models, is I would alternate my nights. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday were my paint nights. And I'd start at like 11 o'clock at night, and then I'd go to about 1:30 in the morning. Now, not everyone can stay up that late, so you might have to work out a different schedule. But that also means that Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays and Sundays were no-goes. I didn't even go in my office because that time was set aside for her. And we could do things like play board games, play card games. And she knew that I wasn't thinking about going in the office and painting. It helped me prioritize and reorganize. And now I go to bed with the wife every night, and then I wake up early. Or sometimes I just don't paint that day. Because again, I've realized that it is at a certain priority level. And if I try to force it and I obsess about it, it causes hardship and it doesn't belong there. So that's my biggest takeaway for this last year is find balance, communicate with your spouse, communicate with other people in your family or in your living and arrangement. You have to try to find a schedule that's not going to impact your relationships negatively, because that really puts a damper on your effectiveness. It puts a damper on the ability to enjoy what you're doing, and eventually it might burn you out. Number 2 is organization. I've had these storage things behind me for quite a while, and that's just part of organization. It's nice to know where your stuff is and where it's going to be and exactly where your tools are. That way you save time. But for organization, I also mean keeping proper track of your estimates, your invoices, keeping proper track of who is currently on deck versus who's waiting, not getting a whole bunch of commissions at the same time. And maybe it might just be me, it might be just because I paint slow, but I get super stressed out if I have more than one commission on my table at a time, because I feel like I owe each person a little bit of an update as I go along. And if they see me working on someone else's commission when I should be working on theirs, it gets weird. And no one has ever said anything. No one's ever complained. I mean, it's mostly me. It's mostly my concern. And because when I've promised things and everything, and I've had amazing customers, amazing people that are very patient and understanding and know that I have other things that are going on. But to be organized saves so much hassle. It really comes down to basically how you prep for your commission. I always, basically, since the majority of my commissions are Warhammer, I tell them, just send me your battle scribe and send me that list. I know how to read it. I know what it means. I know what the people need. And then I have it printed out and stuck on the board behind me. And I have it always sitting there in front of me. If they have a custom scheme, I print off pictures and put those on the board as well. That way I can always look at the project and know what's going on. Secondly, I have a really cool app that I found. I think it's like a couple dollars. I'll find it and I'll link it in there. But it's called Figure Case. Now, Figure Case is a different type of organization. This is more or less keeping track. This helps me keep track of what I have on hand, not necessarily for commission-wise, but for my stock. Figure Case allows you to set up an organizational chart. It allows you to set up, say, like, I want this army, right? Or Space Marines, or Chaos Space Marines. And then in there, you can drop another folder, Black Legion, Death Guard. And then inside there, you say, like, oh, these are my Death Guard ones. I have 15 that are unassembled, 30 that are assembled but unpainted, and then 4, like, let's be real, like 2 that are actually painted. And you get to see a pie chart, you get to see a colored chart of your army, and then you slowly progress. Figure Case is really awesome, especially because I made my 2,000 points for 2021 army in there, and I was able to see just where my progress sat. So Rory, my buddy, my good old pal, Iro Escadron, as he's in Discord, that was for you. You had asked about organization. You'd asked about keeping things straight as far as commissions go and just trying to figure out what to do first. Hopefully that helps. I use like I said, recap, I use Figure Case for keeping track of my armies. I only take one commission at a time. I print out pictures. I print out references. I'm always in constant communication. Some of the biggest problems I've had is when I've gone forward with a project, assuming I knew what I was thinking, and then sending update pictures like, whoa, that's not what I wanted. And then I look back at it, oh, no, you're right. You're totally right. I need to print it off. So printing off your reference material and having it right in front of you as you're working is huge. I also have a whiteboard that I have an overhead list of my current commission. And it's like, okay, I have so-and-so's commission. I have X number of this unit. And 8 of them are assembled and 3 of them are primed and things like that, right? So it's just a quick glance at this board. I know exactly where I sit as far as commission and timeline and status and all that kind of stuff. And I can just take a quick snapshot and send that to the customer as well, so they know, hey, I'm making progress at least, even if I didn't send you pictures. Third is communication. I've kind of already hit on this one, but it's super important to be open and communicate and have 2 ways of communication, not just you always talking to your customer. Making it to where your customer knows they can talk to you and they can bring up ideas and they can bring up changes or requests. It's huge that your customer knows they can talk to you. Now, you might have something written in your terms that says like any change request after this date and time is an additional charge. Only time I ever charge for changes is if I, 1, don't have the parts, or 2, I've already made significant progress and it would require me to undo what I've already done, and then I just add like an hour to the project of just undoing and redoing kind of a thing. I've only had to do it a few times, but it's mostly because, well, they wanted conversion work or they wanted something different. But communication is huge. Communication solves so many problems. You'll notice that your customer is becoming unresponsive, and then maybe you should start slowing down on the project and be like, hey, is everything okay? Are we good to go? And if they don't respond, just like put the project off to the side. Like I will put the project on pause until I hear back from you, because I have other commissions that are on the table that I need to get working on. Communication's massive. It lets them know that you're working on their project. It lets them know that you're still going with their idea and their scheme, and it lets you know that the customer is involved and they're happy and they like it, and maybe that picture is kind of what convinced them to send some more money. You never know. But communication is key. Number 4 is kind of a twofer. I found myself, especially when faced with a pretty huge commission, I found myself getting kind of in a slump. It was monotonous. I was painting blue so much. 155 models, blue. Space Wolves blue. I was so focused on batch painting and everything had to be exactly at the same progress the entire time that it destroyed my morale. I loved the project. It was awesome, but I hated painting it because I would paint for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and I'm still doing blue, base coat blue. One huge helpful tip that I have found, and many of others say this anyway, but if you find yourself getting kind of stuck and going through the motions, and you're actually losing efficiency because you're not excited about the project, you're not energetic, you're not putting, you're not investing in it as much as you could if you weren't bored. One of the things I found is maybe find a cool unit and just paint that unit start to finish. That way you feel the completion. You have this kind of success snowball of, well, now that one's done, let's do something else. I found that when I stopped painting the line models and I just went with a few vehicles, and I saw those vehicles come together and I saw the cool gradients and transitions, the drop pods. The drop pods for my Space Wolf commission were the moment when I fell back in love with commission, because I'd never done drop pods before. They look like a pain in the butt, and I thought I did a really good job. I thought it looked really cool. I did some cool effects I'd never done before. I felt like my airbrushing skills had really, really taken off. And it was that success that led to the impulsors, which was an awesome experience because, again, I'd never done impulsors before. And then from there I went to the Wolfen, which the Wolfen looked great. It's just chain reaction of smaller bits inside the bigger project. And then, when I was feeling good, then I busted out 20 reavers or 30 intercessors or whatever. Then when I had that chain reaction of success going, it was easier to hop back into the monotony. And sometimes it doesn't do it. Sometimes you need to either work on a personal project or just pause. Hey man, I need to take a week. You know what I mean? Like I've been painting red for a year. I need to take a break for my sanity. That's where communication is also huge, because then it's you communicate with your customer. Like, I need you to understand something. This is a lot to ask of me, and I need You take vacations from work, right? Your job expects you to do something and you get paid pretty well, but you can still request time off and they still honor it. So why should this be any different? There are things that help with monotony and the slump. And that leads me to number 5. The final thing I found over a year of commission painting was the joy and huge help and boost of morale that collaboration brings. I started the hobby house the end of last year, and it has grown. It is one of the things that I enjoy the most about continuing to do this hobby is being able to chat with people that I've liked their stuff on Instagram and I followed them and now I'm talking with them and now we're communicating and now we're bouncing ideas back and forth off of each other and they're complimenting my work and I'm complimenting their work. We're sharing each other's stuff on social media. Collaboration is huge. Collaboration is a massive part of the hobby because it's all about community. And that's one of the things that I love about the Warhammer community is that it's so tight-knit and it's so interwoven. And you can have people that love Space Wolves, Thousand Suns, Blood Angels, Goblins, whatever. They love their army. But it's the fact that they love a part of the greater whole that you also love, that now you guys are close and now you guys can bounce ideas off each other. And even if you hate the Blood Angels, but someone painted a really cool Blood Angel, you can appreciate it. And you guys can talk to each other. And I never seen weathering like that before. How'd you do that? Let me show you. Collaboration is massive. Collaboration is what I love most about this. I get to work on things for other people. I get to talk to them about the projects they're doing. We get excited about these things that we're working on together. So yeah, just to recap, over the past year, I've learned the importance of balance, organization, communication, what to do in case of monotony or a slump, and then the importance of collaboration. That's 5. 5 things. Hopefully this is helpful to you like it was helpful to me. If there's anything else you want to know about commission painting, put it in the comments down below. Join the hobby house and ask questions. Hit me up on social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. My goal is to invest in the community. And if you're someone watching this video, you're part of that community. So I want to invest in you. Join the hobby house. Come talk to us. Come be a part. And we will do whatever we can to help you out. If you have an interest in becoming a commission painter, even after this video, or even after hearing things from other painters that say commission painting sucks, and you still are curious, come in and ask, and we will tell it to you straight. We're not going to sugarcoat things, but I love doing it. People do it all the time. People are part of the hobby house that commission paint for a living. That's what they do. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking by if you've actually gotten to this far in the video. If you like what you've seen or if it was helpful to you, please click the subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. Click the bell icon. All the standard YouTube stuff. You know what to do. I mean, you're here, right? So if you could do that, that helps me out. That helps me know what you want to hear, what you want to know, what you want to learn. And I pose these questions to the group and we kind of come up with some ideas and then we push it up to YouTube. So thank you so much again. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.